Well, welcome back to Aces High again. It's Vuduvince. The last video you saw, or should have seen, was the B25H. I went ahead and covered that the other day. We'll be skipping the B26B, the B29, and going straight to the B5N. The B5N is an interesting aircraft. You have a single 800 kilogram AP, I guess, armor piercing, and three 250 kilogram general purpose bombs, and one Type 91 torpedo, one of the fast torpedoes. Now the thing with the B5N is you only have one gun facing rearward, so you can turn like a son of a gun, but yeah, you definitely have no forward-facing guns, unlike the D3A. So we'll go ahead and we'll take the one AP bomb, and we'll go ahead and take off. Flying trucks. Alright, now as you can see, you have a very simple instrument panel here. You've got manifold pressure, temperature gauge, fuel gauge, RPMs, compass, your second compass here, turn slip indicator, artificial horizon, altitude, miles per hour, speed in miles per hour, accelerometer, oil pressure, climb gauge, clock, and flaps. You also have your positions on your surfaces. You have hook. You can drop your hook using Shift G. Yeah, Shift G. I think I have it slaved to one of my keys. Combat trim. Nope, don't have it slaved anymore. You have beacon for if your internet's bad. Combat trim, auto. I don't think they have any hidden anywhere else. Nope. This is one of the ones that really hadn't had any updates to the model in a little while. Alright, and as you can see, you have excellent visibility at the top, left, rear, which helps you see who's going to end up shooting you down. Before I got started, I should calibrate my stick. That's always a good decision. This aircraft is a solid, fun little aircraft to fly. It's not very fast at all. Turns like a son of a gun. Excellent in the platform that you use it for, torpedo or dive bombing, but you can't take any hits. You have no armor. You've got no self-sealing fuel tanks. You usually roll in candle when you get hit, but you can dodge a couple people initially. You might even make it out of some scenarios if you're pretty quick. Okay. Now, traditionally, this has a three-man crew in it. You can't see the other two crew members, but you have a rear-facing gunner, and you have a navigator/bombardier that sits in the back, and you have a pilot. Maybe from F3. No, still no people. This aircraft, you can dive bomb with it, or you can actually level bomb with it. It has a bomb sight in it. Now, very rarely will you see anybody dive bombing with it, but you can. I mean, level bombing with it, but you can do that. Now I have an 800 kilogram bomb, which is like a 1,200 pound equivalent. I don't know kilograms to pounds right off the top of my head, but 800 kilograms. Probably about 1,200 pounds or so, or more in pounds. So you can tell it's a little bit sluggish with that bomb load on there. But as you can tell, the plane it just reacts. Roll rate's kind of reduced due to the that bomb being down there, but the turn, you can just see we're at 100 miles an hour, and it just turns. Fun little aircraft to just get out and fly, and in scenarios is a joy. It's all long and pretty good service during World War II. Of course, when it got caught, you know, it gets shot down pretty easily. In the back, you have what looks to be like almost a Lewis gun knockoff of the Type 97, whatever it is, a drum-fed machine gun. You have about 791 rounds, as you can see up in the left-hand corner. Good luck shooting down anything with this, except for maybe World War I airplanes. I mean, you can put rounds in people, but you're shooting a 30 caliber equivalent 7.7s, and I just don't really see. I've shot to shoot at airplanes before, and it's, unless you got a dedicated gunner back there, it's probably just best that you don't even try it. Now, I've not used the bomb set on this thing in quite some time, so we're gonna hook around here. As you can just tell, I just yanked it around. I'm about 3/4, a little bit of right rudder, and we're back on par. So we're gonna go level F6, U to enter calibration mode, Y for at least 2 seconds, and U to exit. Now you have no bomb bay doors, so I don't know why the door said closed. That's maybe something they need to do. I'm going to shift a little bit to the right here, and loose. I just dropped an AP bomb, so I don't know how well that thing's going to do. Almost right where I wanted it. Not bad. If you remember, if you ever watched Pearl Harbor, you had a scene where a guy was looking through the scope, and he had a picture of the USS Arizona just before they dropped the armor-piercing bomb right through one of the right next to one of the forward gun mounts on the Arizona, and it blew up. You'll notice there's a guy looking through a scope, and that was a B5N that they were flying there. There's not a whole lot to it. I mean, there's not very much to teach you with this aircraft. It's very robust for a Japanese aircraft. Like I'm diving, and I'll just whoop out of it at about, I guess about 300 here. So I pulled as hard as I could. Well, I didn't pull as hard as I could because I probably would have blacked out. As you can see, just straight up, no groan, no wing sounds, no nothing. And then the aircraft is fun to fly. They're probably going, Voodoo, what the hell is this damn white bar thing in front of me? Well, that's like a torpedo sight. Now, the proper way to use that, I've forgotten. But you use that sight in order to, say you find you a target, this line of trees. You have a line of trees that's right there. Say that's a ship. You want to get that white bar out in front of them so many ship lengths, depending on how far away from you are. I think optimum distance is about 800 yards or so. You want to be doing under 200 miles an hour, and it's under 200 feet and under 200 miles an hour, or else your torpedo will just hit the ground and it won't do anything. Do that. We'll take it up north, and we'll run it against a ship a couple of times. We'll see what we can do with it, and I'll show you how to operate it, landing on a vessel and all that jazz. Fun aircraft to land damage in. You come back because you got no defensive guns. You got that one 7.7s, which ain't gonna do much for you. This little plane just wants to fly though. Like I'm having to put a lot of forward pressure on it to get the nose to stay down, because it just wants to. Well, with the flaps up and all, it really likes flying. And it's fun to fly. It's a fun aircraft to fly. I won't lie. All right, let's head up north and do some practice on some shipping. Alright, so somewhere out here is going to be an enemy vessel. How you can probably see it somewhere close here. What we're going to do is we'll go ahead and take it up, and we'll run a torpedo on it. Now this thing has very, very, very wide wingspan. That's why it does such a good job. So if this carrier is turning at all, you need to hug this left side of the boat, because if it's turning, you will hit these forward gun mounts. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get up in the air here. We're going to start hunting for enemy vessel. It's been a little while since I practiced with this thing. I actually did some practice on it. I was making a video. Somebody else out here practicing. Interesting. Well, that tells me that's where the enemy CV's at. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna maintain this this altitude, and I'm gonna continue to head this way. And I'll to save time on the video, I'll cut straight to where I find the vessel. Now, the thing to remember is the higher that you are, the easier it is for you to spot ships. And so the main thing is you zoom in, and you want to look in one direction, and you want to scan using your eyes left to right or right to left, or however you want to look. You want to look out there, and you're looking for the ship vessels. And you get to the front, and you look left to right, and then you get to the left, and you look, and you see right there, dead center of the screen. Now, in order to tell which way the carrier's going, you want to look for the cruiser if it has one. And as you can see, the cruiser's there to the left, so that means that that vessel's traveling away from him. Now, optimum deal is to get it like quarter going towards it, or a 90 degree. A 90 degree is going to give you the best options for hitting this boat. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to travel parallel to it, and then break into it and try to get a torpedo on target if I can. I'm going to go ahead and level out. Now, right now I'm not worried about my speed. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to catch up with the boat. Because to be honest with you, it actually is as fast as the boat travels in here, and as slow as you are, you know, about 200 miles an hour, you really have to be paying attention, because they can get away from you pretty quickly. Alright, so I can see the cruiser there. It looks like it may even be breaking back into me. Can't really tell. You also have to dodge one of those destroyers that's actually turning. So instead of turning into it right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn away from it. I'm going to brake hard around. And you can see the aircraft just pulls. No issue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it in the middle of its turn. Predict where it's going. Go ahead and level out. I'm below 200 feet, well below 200 feet. I'm below 200 miles an hour. And now, gonna kind of rudder a little bit, lower my airspeed again. I'm gonna try and get as close as I can before I let my torpedo go. Now, some guys, based on how far away they think they are, as soon as the axe starts shooting at you, they drop. But I'm going to try and get as close as I can to achieve a hit. I'm not worried about if they shoot me down. I think the axe lethality is pretty low in here anyway. The Japanese torpedoes are extremely fast, so you don't have to throw as much lead with them as you do normally. As soon as that cruiser clears it, I'm going to drop it and then see what happens. Hard pull. Torp is away. Lost it. Here it is. Lost it again. Oh, it missed everything. You can see it is way, way back. Missed everything. Should have got closer. Lethality is real low in here, so you can practice. So, as you can tell, it's going to take you a lot of practice in here in the training room. This is the best place to do it. So you dropped your torpedo, you've done your bomb drop. Dive bomb with this aircraft extremely easy. The D3A is very similar, so if you're watching this and the D3A video is out, go ahead and cut straight to it, and the diving procedure should be about the same. You can also level bomb with it. I would try to get in front of them, or maybe come up behind them. We're going to do that. Anyway, so we've made our bomb run, and now we're going to find our way back to our friendly carrier, which is out here at the 11 o'clock here. And we're gonna land successfully on this aircraft. So on your torpedoes, remember 200 feet and under 200 miles an hour. Under 200, under 200. And for Americans, it's under 250 and under 250. Jap torpedoes are Type 97s. or extremely fast. But as you can see there, you still got to throw a lot of lead or get really close. They have a minimum arming distance. I think it's like 800 to 1,000 yards. So you have to make sure that if you drop it, that you drop it outside of that minimum distance so that it has time to arm. They'll definitely drop torpedoes at like 200-300 feet, and they just go right through and keep going, and they don't arm. All in all, a very, very fun aircraft to fly, and if you're successful with it, you know, it shows that you have the skill to get into an area that's dangerous, attack a target, and then leave without anybody getting you, or at least making it back with, you know, substantial damage. These will fly pretty well with a half wing. It usually breaks out there. If you see the 3 bullet holes before the aileron, it usually breaks about there, and it'll fly fairly well with a wing like that. And he's in a B5N. Interesting. He's in the standard camouflage, which is or the standard pattern, which is BRT, your landing gear's down, but and so now we're going to line up for a landing, and looks like the boat's holding still. So the first thing I like to do is go ahead and get that hook out, because that's the first thing you'll forget. So you go ahead and get that that hook out, because it's not going to tear off or anything with speed. So I'm going to be into reduced throttle, and I'm going to come in here at kind of a 45-degree angle, because that's just how I'm lined up right now. And this is kind of personal preference, so I'll go ahead and I know that flaps are going to pop no matter what, so I'm going to just ease in here and get as close as I can. When I feel comfortable, I'll go ahead and increase throttle a little bit. It's shift and G as in golf. And so there's a notch of flaps, second notch of flaps, third notch, fourth, landing gear. And we're just going to line up with the boat. You can use this bar to line up pretty well, and then you just want to hold your same angle of attack, just like any other standard landing. And I don't have the airspeed to maintain that, so I'm going to give it some more and get this nose up. It kind of likes to waft, you know, as that's the way I describe it. You know, the nose likes to drop. It kind of wallows is better description. So as you come in here, you lose sight of the carrier deck, so you want to look out of the corner. And you'll see the black lines, so you just drift on in here. As you drift, you see I'm going a little bit left. Alright, and I just drift, pull back, increase throttle, and you're in. You're there. It takes a lot of practice. You got to try it a number of times. And you see BRT had to go around. But you can do it. I mean, it's pretty easy. And with anything, it takes practice. I hope this helped you out. And if you have any questions or comments, post them below. Or if I got any information wrong, please correct me. I'm not perfect. I'm just trying to get you in the air and get you a little more information before you get into a fight. And you know, you're learning the hard way by getting shot up. So at least you know what you're getting into when you hop in this airframe. All right. Well, y'all have an excellent day, and I hope to see you in the skies soon.